What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you would, please subscribe or consider subscribing. Please like, please follow, please do all those things. We'd appreciate it. So on today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I'm installing a bathtub in our mobile home. If you've been following along, we are remodeling our guest bathroom because we had a leak. And we've got a couple other videos prior to this one if you want to go back and watch those that kind of led up to us, videos of us doing the demo, stuff like that. Go check them out on our playlist, that will be our home repair, mobile home repair playlist. So today I'm going to show you guys how we're putting the bathtub in, but I want to show y'all something. There are some videos out there on putting bathtubs in mobile homes, and I've watched all of them, or probably most of them. But I've yet to find one that solves a problem that I found right away when I started getting ready to install this bathtub. And that is, the bathtub right now is just temporarily in place. Nothing's permanent right now. It's just sitting there right now so that we could make sure we have everything set correctly. But one of the biggest issues we had was the flooring underneath the bathtub was not level. Therefore, the bathtub was not level, or the front of the bathtub was lower than the back. So, and we even did some tests, and if you would pour water right here, it would roll all the way down here. Same on that side, which that's gonna be a problem. If you watched our earlier videos, Skylar, get back. We are not sure what contributed to the leak that we had that caused us to do this remodel. But we have a suspicion that some of it at least came from water running out of the bathtub when our boys were taking a shower. It could have been all of it. So we definitely didn't want to start out with a bathtub that was unlevel and lower towards the front so that the water could run off. That's just not a good situation. Again, I couldn't find any videos that addressed, every video that I watched just said, just stick it in there and screw it in and you're done. Nobody ever talked about it being level. And so I kind of had to devise a way to get it where the front is higher than the back so that any water, most water should run back into the tub, not out of the tub. I'm going to show you how I did that. I'm going to show you a couple other tricks that I came up with that I think will come in handy if you're installing a bathtub like this in your trailer house or mobile home. I'm going to pull this bathtub out of here, show you what's underneath there, what I did. And then we're gonna actually go back into it, or go back in with it, and then permanently install it. So y'all stay tuned. Got the bathtub pulled back out. I'm gonna show y'all a few things we did to rectify this situation. Start with, those bathtubs are super light. They're easy to go in and out. We've had that bathtub in and out of this spot at least 5 times throughout this process so far. Thinking that the next time we go in with it, it's gonna be the last time. I think we got everything ironed out and figured out. So this is what we did to raise the front of the bathtub slightly so that the water will drain to the back. So first, this piece of particle board lines up with the front of this styrofoam material right here. So with these bathtubs, I would say 90 to 95% of the stability of the bathtub comes from this styrofoam being on the ground level. If that's on the ground level, you have your base lined out. Everything else is minor compared to that. So what we did was, that piece of particle board in the front half of the styrofoam in the bathtub raised it up enough so that it brought the front half, the whole front half up enough so that the water will drain back into the tub. In doing that, a couple problems arose. One, it raised up the front where this piece of little piece of F flashing goes. That piece goes on this right here, dummy, and keeps that secure where it doesn't wobble like that. So I went ahead and cut another strip of particle board to raise this up the same height as that. I guess I could have been
more precise and cut one solid piece to go right here, but I didn't want to have to do the exact measurements to make it line up with the front of this flashing right here. So I just cut 2 pieces. Now, it being raised up right here is not a problem. The flooring is going to go right here, and then we'll use probably a piece of plastic or synthetic quarter round to go right there to trim it all in, and when you look down at the tub, you'll never know that any of that stuff was done. So this piece of trim, molding, whatever you want to call it, it was a little bit lower on this end, so I put those 2 little shims in there. I guess I could have went out and trimmed them off a little bit better, but they're not going to be in the way. Nothing's going to hit them right there. That's a void, a blank space there. And then these pieces up here at the top, this is an older piece that was weathered outside, but it doesn't matter. These go along this part of the bathtub right here, and then down there around the top edge. Those really don't support the bathtub a lot, and in fact they may be a little bit below where they need to be, but I guess if somebody were to be in the bathtub and like put their foot up here to stand up or something, I don't know why they would do that, but that would prevent the bathtub from bowing and, you know, potentially cracking or something like that. So one other thing we did that I think is made this part of the project much easier was cutting some access holes in the wall on the back side of the bathtub. You can see one right here. This one right here is more for future. If we think we have another leak, we can get underneath there and see. And you can see the dog sticking her nose through. But this one came in very handy because it's allowed us, when we go to put that bathtub in, that black drain pipe that you see right there and that P-trap right there, they're very, very close to lining up, but they're not exactly perfect. So when you go to stick that bathtub down in there, if that access port or access hole wasn't there that I cut in, you would have to have somebody underneath the house looking up and lining up the piece as you put the bathtub in and out, which would be a pain. So that's allowed us, like I said, many times to put that bathtub in and out very quickly, to make calculations, to do measurements, to just think through everything. So this is in our son's room, and as you can tell, you can look down there and see that P-trap right there. And I even was able to screw that pipe in there. You can see some water in there because we tested the bathtub out and actually put water in it to see if it would leak. But I was able to tighten it down and everything from right here without having to get underneath the house. So I realize those access holes are not an option for everybody, but if you can put one in on the back side of any fixtures, any drains, anything like that, I would highly recommend it. This one that's right here on the back side of the bathtub faucet, I cut that one in years ago, and then while we were doing the remodel, I went ahead and cut one up right here as well. And I've got the pieces to go over those to finish them out. I just haven't put them in yet. They'll be towards the end of the project. But we also have that in our master bathroom where we have access ports to all the fixtures and faucets and all that stuff. Just if you ever have an issue, being able to see behind there for me is a big peace of mind. So, all right, we are at the pivotal point. I want to answer one more question that's probably going to come up on far stability in the bathtub. So I told you guys earlier, this styrofoam being solid on the ground is the most vital part of the bathtub being solid and stable. So I realized when I put this piece in here, when that styrofoam sits on it, there's going to be a void right here to some degree, all the way across right there. So I was watching another guy who was putting in a bathtub just like this, and he put it flat on the ground, but he used some sealant that is for windows and doors. And the difference, my understanding, it's not a sealant, it's a foam that's for windows and doors, spray foam. And the difference between regular spray foam and spray foam that's for windows and doors is the window and door spray foam does not expand and cause hydraulic pressure that would move something. When you spray it around a window or a door, you don't want the door frame or the window frame to move, then you not be able to close
the door or the window. You just want it in there for filler and support. And so that's why this gentleman used it underneath the bathtub, and it was a great idea because it's going to fill that void there, but it's not going to expand and raise the bathtub up and cause it to have a bump in it or anything like that. So we're going to put that spray foam down basically all across here, and then in here, everywhere that we think that styrofoam base is going to sit. And in my opinion, it's just going to give it more stability, and it's going to fill in those little voids. I don't think those voids would be a problem, but over time, just for my peace of mind, over time, kids getting in and out of it, always getting in and out of it, the weight and everything, it's better to be safe than sorry and have that void filled in rather than eventually that, you know, the bathtub keeps giving and that styrofoam cracks and then it becomes an issue. So it's kind of far-fetched, but I guess it's possible. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the spray foam underneath there. We're going to put the bathtub back in place, and then I have these retainer clips that I'm going to put in place. I've got about 6 or 8 of them. I'm going to put them strategically where there's studs to screw them into to hold everything in place a little more better. I think the bathtub actually didn't come with these. I had to ask the company that we bought it from for some of them, but for my peace of mind, I think, I don't know if they're 100% necessary, but it's definitely going to get the top of that bathtub from moving around. So, all right, enough talking, let's get to it. All right, got it installed. I've got some buckets here. This has got water in it. This has got tools in it to help just hold it in place while that foam dries. As you can see on this side, the bubble is towards the front, which means that's going uphill. It's touching the line on the front side. And on this side, which is probably the more important side, it's about 1/4 of a bubble past that line. So again, in my opinion, guys, I would not install a bathtub like this and have the front going downhill. You're gonna just pour water out onto the floor. Now, once we get the backsplash installed, we'll show you all that next. We found some things on Amazon that you can put in the corner of the bathtub to further prevent water from leaking out. We're probably gonna install those as well. And as you can see, I have these little retainer clips. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one more right there, 6. So, you know, having that access panel on the other side of the wall and being able to put this bathtub in there and see, you know, get it guided in there easily and then pull it back out within a minute or two was very beneficial in this whole process. I would say we probably spent a couple hours prepping to put the bathtub in, making sure our measurements were right, making sure we had it set right, make sure that the back was going downhill so the water wouldn't come out, all that stuff. We did all that over a couple hours, and then the actual final part of installing that bathtub, it literally took a few minutes. But all that prep work, you know, got us all ready. So I would say just take your time, do your measurements, calculations. You know, even for me, a lot of times just sleeping on it and thinking through everything is very beneficial. So we got word yesterday that our flooring guy, who is been a friend of my wife Shanna's family since she was in high school, middle school, he's gonna be out today to do our flooring. So I had to pull the toilet back out, as you can tell, got everything cleaned up out of here. And he's supposed to be here in a few hours. My guess is he's gonna make really short work of this little area. He should be able to knock it out, I would think, in a couple hours easily. So I don't know how much videoing of that I'm gonna do, but we'll definitely show y'all once we get done here shortly. All right, and just like that, we got floors.
as you can tell, it matches the rest of the majority of the house.
So next step is we're gonna put this backsplash wall piece up here for the bathtub. Been doing some research on it. Think we got it figured out, but the best advice I saw in the instructions weren't great, but I made this mark right here, and I made a center mark on the back of the backsplash piece, and it said to line those up and then work your way out, which kind of makes sense. If you work your way out correct, then it should be pretty equal on each side where it lines, on each side where it lines up at. Guess I could show y'all what it looks like. It's kind of crazy. This came in this whole piece right here is what's going to go in there. And it came folded up in that box. Like this piece was folded around. So this is my center mark here. It comes with rivets that you can put in place. It's going to do that as well, and it has some, like a piece of tape with adhesive underneath it for the bottom side for it to adhere to the lip on the bathtub. And these are the little rivets. You can see it goes, there's a spot for one here and there and so on. I had to drill those out, and I guess you just kind of tap them in place, and it opens this end up, and it's kind of like a wall anchor basically, but it just doesn't screw. So all right, we're gonna get started. Got it in there.
I could sit here and probably point out some imperfections in the whole setup that are just cosmetic. They're not functional problems, but I'm not going to do that. Overall, for us never installing a bathtub or a backsplash before, I think we did a pretty good job. We got to go back and caulk everything really well. This house is not, none of it's level. Nowhere in this house is level, and you can see there's not as much of a gap there as there is on that end. So we're gonna have to caulk that really good. You know, that's gonna be part of our, you know, our finish out stuff. So, but all in all, I'm super happy with it. Just like putting the bathtub in, the best advice I can give you is to bring that backsplash in here, put it in place, you know, play with it and make marks. We made some center marks up here. In the end, we're still off just a hair, but you'll make plenty of marks, plenty of, you know, reference points to be able to, when you come back and put it in permanently, you have points of reference to make sure you're getting it in correctly. Another thing, I don't know if we did the right thing or the wrong thing, but we started, when we got it set, we put this rivet, this one rivet here in the middle in place. And in hindsight, I think we may have done that too early. And we were, like I said, we're barely off on one side versus the other. One side sticks out slightly farther than the other side. So, and that being in place didn't allow us to move it. Our mark was right, and we had it all lined up good. I don't know what we did, but either way, it's, you know, it's only cosmetic, and trying to go easy on ourselves with as much as we have going on. You know, I don't want to nitpick every little thing. So, but yeah, hope this helps y'all. The biggest takeaway from this for us is just go slow, and, you know, measure 10 times so you only have to cut one time, and you know, measure 10 times so that when you do the final actual install, there's less room for error. So, but yeah, so we got to do some plumbing work back here. I got to install the fixtures here and a new faucet up there. Trim. We have the vanity outside. Shannon's gonna sand that and paint it tomorrow. But I'd say overall, we're probably 80% done with the bathroom, maybe a little bit more. Our plan is, today's like a Thursday night. It'll be a different night when y'all watch it. It'll be several weeks from now when y'all watch this video. But our plan is this weekend to get the remainder of it knocked out and done, so we can get ready for deer season, get ready for hunting, all kinds of stuff. So Skylar's been very concerned with what we're doing here. Very nosy. All right, y'all. Hope this video helps y'all. Do us a big favor, subscribe, comment, leave a thumbs up, do all those things. Follow us on all the social media outlets. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all again.